Here, KTRS. With us now, Howard Richards, Mizzou Radio Community Relations. What is wrong with an 11 o'clock kickoff? Jimmy Holder just says start your tailgating early.
Hey, listen, I'm not a fan of 11 o'clock kickoffs, but, if you win, the game's over a lot earlier. And, with our Missouri fans, they're so fickle. Sometimes it's hard to get the kids out of bed to get them into the pro field. Later kickoff ensures we have greater attendance. But regardless, like Barry said, no matter what time the game is set to kick off, Missouri's going to be there and be ready to play.
We have a great game. Mizzou is 3-0, Georgia 3-0. They're ranked second in the country. On paper, it looks like a tough row to hoe.
Of course it does. Georgia is the runner-up to the national championship. And in my opinion, that's a game that they could have easily won, if not for one big play at the very end of the game. That said, they're solid in a lot of areas. I will say this, though. They're struggling a bit defensively. Their defensive line has zero sacks this year. So they have not been able to get a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. Missouri, conversely, has only given up one sack all year. So that right there should be an interesting matchup. I do expect Georgia to blitz Missouri a lot. One thing you cannot do is sit back and allow Drew Lock to have a lot of time to find his open receivers. So expect to see a lot of creative defensive schemes, blitzes, disguised coverages on the defensive side of the ball.
What do you do as a coach to get ready for a game where you're a 14-point underdog, but you know your team deep in your heart can pull the upset? And how do you convey that to the team and get them ready?
First of all, your players shouldn't even be looking at media. They shouldn't even be aware of what the line is. It's irrelevant as a player. You have no control over that. This is about fundamentals. This is about doing what you're coached to do. Your opponent puts on their shoulder pads and helmets exactly the way you do. They can have a bad day. You can have a great day. But first of all, you cannot be intimidated. If you're intimidated, you've already lost the battle. These players, there's really not a whole lot that separates them. It's about playing together as a team. Teams that are successful do those things, and they make very few mistakes. The other thing Missouri can't do, especially offensively, is turn the football over. Defensively, they've got to find a way to create turnovers. Georgia is a team that really hasn't played in a lot of close games, certainly none this year. So if Missouri can match them toe-to-toe like they did for the first half of last year's game and eliminate the mistakes, you've got quite a ball game. Really that's what I expect from this team. I think they have matured far beyond where they were last year. And I think they're ready for the challenge. In spite of what you saw against Purdue last week, some teams have the quote-unquote numbers of other teams. And, Jeff Brom's team at Purdue really schemes well against Missouri.
Right.
Missouri typically has actually played Georgia, with the exception of a couple of games, has played them pretty tough over the years and got a victory in 2013 down there. We haven't won yet in Thoreau Field, but this is the first time for everything, right?
Of course there is, and as they say, that's why you play the games. But let me ask you, Howard, the home field advantage in the SEC, how important is that?
It should be important. I mean, and when people talk about hostile environments, that is one of the things that you hope works in your favor. And that's why it's so important to get the fans out and be supportive of this team. They're 3-0. They're playing really well, I think, in many areas. Obviously, room for improvement. But why not get behind a team that, to me, has a lot of upside, great potential. By the time December 1st rolls around, no one can predict who's going to be in that SEC championship game in Atlanta, Georgia. Maybe it's Missouri.
Howard, with construction going on at the south end of the stadium, are they expecting to sell out?
Kelly, if this game is not sold out already, I expect, by Saturday morning, with walk-ups, that it should be sold out. With the construction in the south end zone, it has decreased the capacity of the stadium about 10,000 seats. So it should be a lot easier for us to sell out. And with a marquee team like Georgia, there's no reason why the stadium should not be at full capacity.
And with a weekend looking as nice as it's going to be, 70 degrees, and just perfect to have the sun on your face, and Georgia and Mizzou down on the field.
And family weekend.
Family, too.
It is, sure is, no doubt. It's the perfect scene setter, great weather, great matchups, and I do expect to see some really good football tomorrow between these two teams.
Howard Richards, we're looking forward to the game. It starts at 11 a.m. kickoff. Get up early, get out there, beat the traffic, enjoy the weekend, enjoy Mizzou Tiger football.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next week.